Good morning, everybody. This is webinar 1, Career Guidance Strategies for Twin Transition within Transform project. The overreaching objective of the Career Guidance Excellence Program is to strengthen the quality and effectiveness of guidance services provided by micro, small, medium-sized enterprises, employers, career counselors, and employment agency professionals. So, what we are going to try to reach is the objective pursued through two complementary ambitions, enabling provision of up-to-date, tailored, and future-oriented career guidance and raising awareness of emerging career opportunities within the green and digital economy. In this context, the Transform proposal explicitly highlights career guidance strategies as a cornerstone of the Career Guidance Excellence Program, recognizing their essential role in supporting individuals and organizations through structural labor market change. So this first webinar will focus on career guidance strategies for the twin transition, and what we are trying to reach as learning outcomes are possibility to exhibit adaptive readiness by responding proactively to market disruptions and managing the certainty of frequent job changes. Also, we're going to try to explain how to redefine clients' colleagues' professional story to align professional values and strengths with the needs of digital and grid economy. Effectively navigate labor market information to find quality opportunities and advocate for clients' colleagues' rights in changing work environment. Also to engage in cross-functional networking and membership to gain industry-specific insights and access possible job opportunities created by the transition. We hope that we are going to gain outcome to identify and bridge skill gaps and use self-assessment tools to recognize what's current. Also to analyze and impact the twin transition and crucially evaluate how digital and green trends affect clients or our colleagues' specific industry, including emerging job roles and shifting skill requirements. These are numerous expected learning outcomes. I don't know if we are going to reach everything, but we are all learning continuously and trying to gain our objectives. This webinar consists of two parts. Now we are going to focus on understanding the twin transition and its career opportunities. The sheer concept of twin transition is simultaneous digital and green transformation of the economy. The twin transition is a strategic economic framework combining digital transformation and environmental sustainability using technologies like artificial intelligence or cloud to achieve climate neutrality and resource efficiency. It combines green and digital goals to improve productivity and ensure long-term sustainable economic growth. Just a note at the beginning, everything that we quote, you're going to find at the end of this presentation in literature, so you can carry on with learning and finding another resources to actually find additional information regarding career opportunities, twin transition, and career guidance. So what's the concept? We should think about and explore new career pathways, how twin transition generates them, and how technological innovation and sustainability objectives are reshaping our occupations, skill requirements, and employment models across all the sectors, creating both challenges and opportunities for workers and employers alike. What's everything based on? In December 2019, the European Commission launched European Green Deal, committing the Union to net zero greenhouse gas emission by mid-century. Parallel initiatives, notably Digital Education Action Plan and Digital Compass, set out similarly ambitious aims for connectivity, data infrastructure, and digital competencies. Policy documents combine all these ambitions under the twin transition, and recent scholarship argues that environmental goals provide the compass while digitalization supplies the instrument to that goal. Effective career guidance strategies for twin transition, which is, just to remind you, simultaneous digital and green transformation, focus on building eco-digital competencies, promoting adaptability, and leveraging technology to support lifelong learning. Lifelong learning strategies are probably familiar to all of you, so that's what we are going to try to gain within these strategies for European Green Deal and in combination with twin transition. These strategies aim to help individuals navigate and change labor markets that require new and often, very often, and more hybrid skill set. The twin transition presents both challenge and opportunity for educational systems, technical and vocational education training, which is closely tied to labor markets and practical orientation. It is uniquely placed to lead the integration of sustainability and digitalization into workforce development. In this context, the evolution of technical and vocational education training is not merely a policy initiative, but a foundational shift in how societies must prepare for future defined by environmental responsibility and technological innovation. The green transition is deeply rooted in international commitments like, Paris Agreement and European Green Deal, and it emphasizes decarbonation, circular economy, practices, sustainable production and consumption models. This digital transition seeks to integrate technological innovation, particularly artificial intelligence, as we mentioned before, big data analytics, Internet of Things, into all sectors of economy. Digital technology can accelerate green. Examples include data centers powered by renewable, low-energy networks, and artificial intelligence-driven ecosystem monitoring. Yet, the relationship is reciprocal because green policies rely on digital platforms for carbon accounting, supply chain transparency, and citizen engagement. The two agendas intersect continuously. Digital transition raises sustainability concerns, including increased energy consumption, raising demand for rare earth materials, and generation of electronic waste. Achieving synergetic twin transition therefore requires policy adjustment and skill development that address these complexities. A key dimension of this integration is green, defined by CED-FOP as knowledgeable abilities, values, and attitudes needed to live in, develop, and support a society which reduces the impact of human activity on the environment. So UNESCO Education and Sustainability Development Roadmap and European Commission's Green Competence Model refine this definition as an ability to grasp sustainability as a complex interdependent system, capacity to envision desirable futures, the skills required to translate such visions into action, and reflexivity to interrogate personal and collective values. Empirical studies confirm that such change reshapes professional identities, work cultures, socioeconomic priorities, rather than merely updating technical skills. So basically, we're talking about the mindset that guides us to these reshapes, because our professional identities, work cultures, are not just simple activities for updating technical tasks or technical activities, but actually to reshape how we figure about things, how we think about things, and how we focus on something that's considered activities within twin transition. At the European level, the Council recommendations on technical vocational education training for sustainable competitiveness obliges member states to waive sustainability through every qualification. The skills agenda sets headline target for up and reskilling, and funds such as Erasmus Plus or other funds, just transition mechanism, finance experimentation. National responses nonetheless different, reflecting varied institutional legislation and resources. So additional possibilities could be found in other literature, and we provided all the inputs at the end, so you can actually search for further information. European Skills Agenda is actually a 5-year plan to help individuals and businesses develop more and better skills and to put them into use by strengthening sustainable competitiveness, ensuring social fairness, access to education, training, and lifelong learning for everybody, everywhere in EU. Building resilience to react to crises is based on lessons learned during the COVID-19 pandemics. We had to learn these lessons really fast, and we had to adapt really fast during pandemics. So now we can actually use what we have learned for actions that are incorporated in European Skills Agenda. What we are going to focus on are not all the actions and not all the actions, but we are going to focus on Action 6. Action 6 is skills to support the twin transition, what we are focused on during this webinar. The Commission published in early 2022 the updated digital competence framework, covering all the digital competencies needed for emerging technologies, including artificial intelligence. The outcome of the structured dialogue on digital education and skills in 2022 and discussions with all the member states supported the Commission's proposal for counseling recommendation on digital education skills. Together with these proposals, the Commission announced the launch of European Digital Skills Certificate Pilot for common recognition of digital skills in European Union and Cybersecurity Skills Academy. The Commission has published a taxonomy of skills for green transition under European skills, competencies, and occupations. Within Action 6, the Council adopted a recommendation of learning for green transition and sustainable development. The Commission presented Green Comp and the European Sustainability Competences Framework. Erasmus Plus program supports the development of green skills through the project Green, Greener European Vet Network, which integrates green professional skills in training for the automotive, energy, batteries, defense, maritime, and additive manufacturing sectors. The Blueprint Alliances, funded by Erasmus Plus, aim at developing a skill strategy with an industrial sector. The Commission has proposed to establish net zero industry academies to roll out upskilling and reskilling programs in strategic industries for the green transition, such as, raw materials, hydrogen, solar technologies. New European Battery Academy was established to equip workers with the skills needed to provide European Union industry with strategic technology. Regarding twin transition and changing skills need, for obviously the need to change skills is something that twin transition requires, and all that is mentioned in the Action 6 is actually the route to thinking about how to change skill needs. And for the twin transition to happen, education and training systems must ensure sufficient numbers of specialists equipped with right skills to develop and implement new technologies and infrastructure. So all of us in this business, in education and training systems, we also must be equipped with right skills to help to develop and implement new technologies and infrastructure. And everybody who deals with career guidance and counseling how to develop somebody's career must also learn all the time, continuously, to be equipped with right skills to develop and implement new technologies and infrastructure. The green transition is expected to have an overall positive effect on employment, but there are considerable differences in expected impacts across sectors, regions, and skill groups. As the green and digital transitions are strongly interlinked and entail an economy-wide transformation, investment in adult learning, upskilling, and reskilling will be needed in most sectors to implement green and digital solutions. So basically what we are talking about in implementing green and digital solutions and achieving twin transition is continuous learning, lifelong learning to gain right skills to develop and implement new technologies and infrastructure. Apart from changing job structure, digitalization has increased the digital intensity and work across occupations and sectors. As we mentioned before, this process is obviously accelerated by the COVID-19 pandemics. As we all remember, at that moment, we had to learn really fast and to achieve outcomes that are effective, how to work from home, how to use technologies, how to use everything to help us actually function within pandemic circumstances. This transformation of employment structure and content may contribute to increased digital skills needs in certain sectors or occupations, potentially leading to shortage of workers with these skills. At the same time, digitalization may help all of us to fill certain vacancies due to increases in job flexibility. What we tried to do is we tried to look for some skills that are within green and digital skill set. And we tried to find within classification what skills are actually something that we can gain or that we can focus on regarding green or digital possibilities. So if you look at this information that we tried to find, what is green is obviously much more focused on that section of twin transition. And what is blue are digital skills. So let's go through this, and just bear in mind that you can also search on EACEA website what other skills can be incorporated to actually achieve how to be equipped with the right skills to develop and implement new technologies in the infrastructure. So, what are green? Engage others in environment-friendly behaviors. Adopt ways to reduce negative impact on consumption. Adopt ways to reduce pollution. Evaluate environmental impact of personal behavior. Our behavior, personal behavior. That's why we mentioned we have to reshape our mindset. Adopt ways to foster biodiversity and animal welfare. What are digital? Operate digital hardware. Yeah, we are all half literate with this. For example, a front for Zoom changed. So we had to figure out which actual button to push every time they improve on something. Apply basic programming skills. Conduct web searches, or maybe use communication and collaboration software, as we are trying to use some softwares now. Create digital content, webinar. Apply digital security measures. We all know the digital security measures and everything that we post somewhere and everything that we put somewhere is there forever. If it is online, if it is on internet. So how to think about that, how to teach people about that, how to apply digital security measures. Let's move on. How to manage office facility systems. We can't work without all these digital appliances and all this hardware and software. We can't live without them anymore. Cultivate crops for biomass. Okay, predictive maintenance, database quality standards, or maybe how to use specialized equipment or set up the controller of a machine. As for green, manage air quality. We all drive. Advise on environmental risk management systems, or maybe to design geothermal energy systems or energy microgeneration technologies. All these skills that we just try to present are only a segment of the skills needed to develop and implement new technologies and infrastructure within Action 6 and within possibility to actually achieve twin transition. The second part of career guidance strategies of this webinar, and this will be career guidance strategies. Let's talk about career guidance strategies. What are they? Career guidance strategies are structured and coordinated approaches designed to support individuals in making informed decisions about education, training, and career development throughout their lives. We all try to think about our careers, and we all try to make informed decision, and the only way to actually gain deeper understanding of our skills, interests, aspirations, while also providing insight into labor market trends, into emerging occupations and evolving competence requirements, that's something we all do. We all do it continuously. So for people who actually provide career guidance strategies counseling, this is not something that they never saw or knew or found out. But this is also something that we as practitioners must practice all the time. So everything we do are actually up to date or most current ideas and information about education, training, career development, trends in labor market, what are new emerging occupations, and how we are evolving in all this our competence requirements. Effective career guidance strategies combine access to reliable and up-to-date career information with personalized guidance, counseling, and coaching. This is not an overall policy. We have to think about individuals. Through this integrated approach, career counselors can support individuals in exploring diverse career options, setting realistic and achievable goals, and planning very specific steps toward employment, reskilling, upskilling, or career progression. It is very important to remember that these strategies also connect individuals with relevant learning opportunities, including technical vocational education, green digital skills training, all types of apprenticeship and work-based learning pathways. And effective career guidance strategies also recognize the advantage of practical, workplace, on-the-job oriented training rather than purely theoretical programs, possibilities for somebody to talk like I'm talking now for hours and hours. So let's focus on what's functional, on-the-job, individual, with relevant learning opportunities, with all the possibilities to actually learn something on the job and very practically underlining the importance of learning approaches that are closely aligned with real working environments. Real working environments are totally different. There are hundreds and thousands of them. So we must be aware what working environment are we talking about, as well as what individuals are we talking about and with, and what are relevant opportunities for those individuals in those work environments, and how to incorporate everything to support people in exploring diverse career options. Also, in rapidly evolving labor market that is obviously shaped by digitalization, the green transition and demographic change, career guidance strategies play a role in enabling career transition and fostering lifelong learning. They help reduce skills mismatches. So that's why we have to think about what is the industry, who are people in them, what are their possible career pathways, will they learn, how will they learn, what can we help them with. Enhanced employability promotes social inclusion by ensuring that guidance services are accessible to people of all ages and backgrounds. By aligning individual aspiration with labor market needs, career guidance strategies contribute to more resilient career pathways and more responsive education and employment system. Maybe after all this information about what are career guidance strategies, maybe we can agree that career guidance strategies, adaptability, building, and workforce resilience, identification of transferable skills are to be understood as interdependent components of a single, coherent system that supports individuals through labor market transition. So if we try to remember previous information, and if we try to think and reflect about what are career guidance strategies and what is most important, to take care about individuals, to take care about various industries, to take care about learning possibilities, to be reachable, to be able to reach everybody, to be able to think about how to reduce mismatches, how to enhance employability, how to think about recognizing advantage of practical, on-the-job, workplace-oriented training. Maybe we can agree that the point is that we must think about one coherent system that supports individuals through labor market transitions. So what should our strategies and activities include? What should we think about to put into effort and to put into activities? Let's try to think about that. Services intended to assist individuals to make well-informed educational training and occupational choices. So we must think how to provide services that are intended to help people how to make some choice regarding their education or training or some sort of occupational choices. In order to gain this, they must be well informed. Across the globe, career guidance is known by different terms. The terms include career development, career counseling, career educational and vocational guidance, vocational psychology. We can call them in various terms, but what we are actually doing is trying to help people to be well informed how to assist them in education, training, occupational choices. So information that we are trying to provide are actually something that helps everybody to make decisions about accessibility and that helps them in career guidance how to reflect on their strengths and interests. How should everybody think about what are my strengths, what are my interests, what are my aspirations, and how to provide tailored advice and empower individuals to make better decisions, right decisions, decisions at that moment, but that will gain achievements that everybody aspires, and how to make decisions about their lifelong career development and learning. These activities also include various tools to assess an individual's digital competencies alongside their sustainability awareness. We are actually focusing on twin transitions, so we are talking about these activities and this information. Maybe consider pairing senior staff with younger workers to allow for transfer of tech-based mindset from younger generations while seniors pass on industry experience and institutional knowledge. For seniors, it's much easier to actually pass the phone or the computer to somebody younger and say, please fix this. And for young people, it's actually easier to work with somebody who is maybe a little bit older, a bit more experienced, and to learn how to do some job on the job within maybe shorter time framework. So pairing may help. Focus training on workers in high-risk areas. Maybe we should increase trainings, number of trainings, variety of trainings for somebody who is in high-risk areas, carbon-intensive industries, mining, traditional manufacturing. Those industries are high-risk areas, considering a green transition. So maybe we can think about how many trainings, how many learning developments, how many career developments we can provide for those in high-risk areas. We are trying to do that to prevent exclusion from the job market, and in addition to technical knowledge, career guidance should emphasize soft skills needed for the transition, including critical thinking, creativity, and adaptability. For example, if we are thinking about green and digital in the recycling industry, we are probably going to explain so much easier for those people who actually work on recycling what it means, what's twin transition, how to develop their careers for greener and more digital. And for those who work in mines and those who work in traditional manufacturing, it will probably take a little bit more effort and a little bit more time and a little bit more different activities, because we have to also move mindset that we mentioned before to actually prevent exclusion from the job market of people who are in those type of industries. OECD did a research, career guidance for adults in changing world of work. And career guidance is fundamental policy level to help adults successfully navigate, constantly involved labor market through advice and information on job and training opportunities. And In this research, most adults who do not train say that there was no training offer that they wanted to take up. And the results show up to 82% of those adults who are not participants in various trainings to say that actually trainings that are in the offer, they do not provide satisfaction and fulfillment of their training needs. This may reflect a lack of understanding of importance of training in today's labor market. Maybe we are obsolete. Maybe we are not thinking, we as providers, we are not thinking what is the need in today's labor market, or what are possible difficulties in identifying suitable training opportunities. Maybe we are not exploring training needs enough. Maybe we are not able to actually see what are the needs of the labor market. Career guidance can help adults to navigate a changing world of work. Policy around career guidance has tended to focus on young people in schools. So, everywhere, I believe, we have career guidance counselors that help young people in schools when they have to complete one set of education, like, for example, from elementary to secondary school, to actually talk to them, to counsel, to help them choose their future occupation, who are about to transition either into higher levels or directly to labor market. But given the changing demand for skills as a result of technological change, globalization, population aging, which is more than obvious, green transitions, career guidance is just as important for adults. It is very important for young people. But based on all these changes that are happening rapidly around us, it is also so very important for adults. 4 out of 10 adults spoke to career guidance advisors in the previous 5 years based on the results of these OECD results. Contrary to perception that career guidance concerns mainly young people, as we mentioned before, these results suggest that there is actually substantial demand for career guidance among adults. Since aging societies, this is more than obvious. Most adult users speak to career guidance advisors at least twice. Most frequently reported reasons for seeking career guidance are to receive help looking for jobs and to learn about education and training options. So 32% are to receive help looking for jobs, and 25% are trying to learn about education and training options. Workers in occupations with a high risk, and we've mentioned what high risks are and what industries are, just to name few. In high risks of automation are also less likely to use career guidance than those in occupations with low risk of automation. The differences between groups reflect a mix of attitudes towards career guidance, awareness of available services, and how career guidance initiatives are targeted. So maybe we are not vocal enough. Well, maybe we are not outspoken enough to help adults how to think about possibilities within career guidance and how to mix attitudes toward career guidance to be more affectionate towards needing help, seeking help, learning. For instance, in small difference between the employed and the unemployed reflects that career guidance is often part of re-employment support offered by public employment services. So if we lose our job, we look for career guidance. If we are just trying to improve on our career guidance or our career, maybe we are not going to look for career guidance that much. So people in public employment services, national employment agencies, they think and much more how to help those who lost their jobs. And people in industries like HRs or somebody who works with industries in raising competencies of employees, maybe we should be more vocal about how to implement career guidance strategies, activities, trainings for those who maybe didn't lose their job, but how to improve on their career, how to enhance on general economy and careers. Specifically, we are talking about twin transition and digital and green skills. So public employment services that are more engaged when people lose their job and private providers represent actually two largest providers of career guidance activities and services for adults. 24 and 22% of adult users, respectively, use these services in public employment and regarding private providers. Other significant providers include education and training institutions and employers. All these providers have their strengths and weaknesses, of course. For example, for public employment services, free counseling is provided, and it is increasingly accessible to employed workers who have historically not been eligible for public employment services support. However, the results of some researches show that satisfaction with public employment services guidance or counseling is generally low, possibly owing to overburdened counselors lacking the time and funding to personalize advice. So maybe they have overload and they can't provide what we've talked before, individualized, focused approach to providing information for everybody how to enhance, improve on their career pathways. Private career guidance providers offer alternative. Okay, but disadvantaged adults may not be able to afford such services. These are paid services, unlike public employment services that are mostly free. So maybe we can't afford such services. On the other hand, private career guidance providers offer an alternative. But disadvantaged adults may not be able to afford such services, may not have money for those services unless they are publicly subsidized. Career guidance outcomes are strongly correlated with type of provider. Career guidance providers by employers or employer associations is found to be linked to positive employment outcomes, and provision by education and training providers is positively associated with participation in training programs. So on-the-job training, combining adults and younger workers be in the employment status maybe can help. Career guidance providers by employers or employer associations is found to be linked to positive employment outcomes, and provision by education and training providers is positively associated with participation in training programs. So there are pros and cons for everything. Let's think about possible pathways how to actually enhance career guidance and counseling for all the groups. In Serbia, there is Agency for Qualifications, and there is a sector in that agency that actually works on career guidance and counseling. Career guidance and counseling services are an important framework that enables the application of the concept of lifelong learning and provides support to individuals in passing through national qualification framework levels, mobility in the labor market, and for developing career management skills. Guidance and counseling services are provided by various providers like National Employment Service, publicly recognized providers in adult education, with the law governing adult education and higher education institutions in accordance with law governing higher education, youth offices, civil society organizations, dealing with career guidance and counseling, employment agencies, and other legal entities in accordance to applicable laws. The program of professional orientation, like career guidance and counseling of students, for example, is implemented by primary and secondary schools in accordance with the law governing primary and secondary education and standards for career guidance and counseling. And we also have this regulation on standards of career guidance and counseling services published in Official Gazette. So there is an agency. In one department of that agency, people are handling possibilities for career guidance and career counseling services. For example, in European Training Foundation, career guidance support is closely linked to lifelong learning, quality education, economic growth, and social inclusions. These connections underline its importance and justify its prioritization. Lifelong career guidance and counseling, career education, and career development support for workers in both formal and informal context act as catalysts for policies that promote economic growth, social equity, and innovation. So if we are thinking about twin transition and all new things that we must incorporate in economic growth, and if we think who is going to do that regarding social equity, we are actually thinking about something completely new regarding career development support and how to counsel in such environment, social environment. On the supply side, low-skilled adults have been disproportionately represented among those who lost their jobs. So it's much more difficult for low-skilled adults to actually be seen among those who lost their jobs. Many of them will need to upskill or retrain to find work, or reskill, or do something to actually be able to be up to date in this economy. On the demand side, the crisis is likely to accelerate. We are all aware of today's world. The adoption of digital technologies and automation, increasing demand for high-level skills, career guidance can facilitate re-employment by identifying new job opportunities and proposing relevant training. Let's see the results of some researches regarding all this participation, training, counseling, guidance, economy, and things like that. This is just one of them. And the aim was understanding the challenges in labor market operations faced when working with adults with basic skills. As we mentioned, low-skilled adults are not all that visible on the market, and possibilities for them to approach to the market are much more difficult. So with adults with basic skills in the framework of the twin transition during guidance services. People who did this research surveyed 104 labor counselors and interviewed 10 of them. So what they talked about is skill demanded for green and digital jobs, digital skills from basic to advanced such as programming, for example, knowledge of sustainability, solar panels, recycling, environmental laws, languages, adaptability to change. As we mentioned before, most important soft skills or transferable skills, teamwork, efficient communication, emotional intelligence, and all that incorporated in lifelong learning. So what were the challenges? Indifference, one of them. They don't see short-term use for it. Or maybe thinking there is an age limit to training. We already talked about the difference between youth and adults. Underground economy, issues with family reconciliation. There were reluctance in every step. They usually question the usefulness of training for their access to the labor market. The need for everybody to be in the labor market and to actually work is imposed regarding training in green transition issues. Acceptance, if this is achieved, may be higher. Lack of motivation, lack of awareness of the problems. They don't feel responsible for their own insertion. They believe that they do not have the capacity to retrain in new sectors, that they won't be able to learn, that they won't be able to understand, that they won't be able to participate in labor market based on what are the new needs or what are the needs in green and digital economy. So challenges in career counseling that were envisioned during this were sectors of interest with few offers or with big changes to which their skills do not correspond. And job search techniques are maybe obsolete. So they get demotivated. So the motivation is a very big obstacle. They don't have digital skills, and all that combined creates even further resistance to change, which then impacts huge lack of income and leads to awareness of or unwillingness or whatever to admit the reality of the labor market. They don't see what's going on because of lack of all the skills, demotivation, lack of income, low professional qualification, and lack of validated qualifications. So maybe we can try through some other forms to actually help validation of qualification for low skills, to make them see the need to be up to date in digital skills to improve their employability is also one of the challenges. And users sometimes vary due to lack of interest or demotivation, mainly caused by their lack of digital skills. Complex personal situations that are for low-skilled workers and workers with low or completely without economic income. So complex personal situations can seriously distract them from reaching their objective, which is actually to position themselves in labor market in this economy, considering twin transition. So let's see another research. This is research regarding development talents for the twin transition in public sector. To move towards to twin transition effectively, everybody who are in public sector dealing with career guidance and counseling are advised to anticipate the potentials of technology and for fostering innovation, as well as the implication that their use or maybe misuse can create in terms of sustainable development. Access the impact the digital technologies are having in their workplaces, with special attention to the level of adoption of employees and their potential reluctance to capture the maximum value for the purposes of public service. Also, to work with managers and leaders to nurture a culture of digital sustainability to support the twin transition. Work with managers and leaders to nurture a culture of digital sustainability to support the twin transition, developing digital tools that allow employees to take initiative and collaborative towards high-quality public service in the context of green working environments. So what are those strategies? Develop skills in public employees to become aware of all the possible benefits of technology for public service. So those who help, who are in public service, those who help in counseling for those who come to actually ask for some counseling for public service, using the technology in an effective and responsible way, and finding ways to innovate in public service as a result of applying the digital tools and they are implemented in their work environments. So we also have to learn. We also have to implement digital technologies. We also have to use instruments to develop talent for the twin transition in public sector. Also, we have to think how to design practices to attract and retain the younger generations of public workers, capitalizing on their natural use of technology and sustainability values, and how to consolidate a twin transition culture in public organizations. Career guidance strategies provide structural framework that determines how and when individuals receive support as they move between education of all levels, jobs, various jobs, or various sectors. Within this framework, the identification of transferable skills makes existing capabilities visible, enabling that our prior experience can be recognized and redeployed, reused in new roles rather than lost. Building on this foundation, adaptability building strengthens individuals' capacity to learn, to adjust, and to manage continuous change. When these elements function together, and only when these elements function together over time and at scale, they foster workforce resilience. A labor force capable of absorbing shocks, changes, rapid changes, slow changes, any changes, redeploying skills efficiently and continuously renewing in capabilities in response to economic and technological transformation. So, what are some samples of green and digital strategies? Some practical examples are maybe creation of entirely new apprenticeship and emerging green-driven occupation, and the revision of existing programs to integrate sustainability-related content. So when we have young people in apprenticeship programs, maybe we can combine the addition of specific technical skills with transversal competencies, with soft skills, and with ideas how to combine everything with climate literacy. For example, understanding how the climate system works, how human action affects our climate system, how human action affects all the environment and everything that's going on around us. Or maybe offering financial incentives for training such as, for example, vouchers for training or personal learning accounts. There are some countries that actually implemented vouchers for training or personal learning accounts. Or financial support to small and medium-sized enterprises through all sorts of various innovative approaches for skill development and various programs as incentives, as financial support, how to develop various skills regarding twin transition. Or involving regional stakeholders and other interested parties, conditioning funding on concrete measures. Also, what is very important are major promotion of awareness and accessibility through targeted information campaigns and digital tools. These are just to name a few. There are so many practical examples that can be used regarding green and digital strategies. So what are possible activities for career guidance and counseling practitioners who help or try to help individuals how to manage their careers? There are a number of activities. There are a number of things that can be done. And career guidance covers a wide range of activities that help individuals manage their careers and make, as we mentioned before, informed decisions about education, training, work that align with their personal characteristics, their aspires, their desires, their living conditions, personal conditions, such as strengths, interests, and learning styles. So what can we include? What activities can we do to help individuals? Career information and advice on education, training, employment opportunities. Career counseling, provided by qualified practitioners with psychological or guidance training. So not everybody can counsel. We have to learn all the time, and we have to have appropriate training to provide adequate activities for all individuals. Also, we have to be familiar with career management skills. So those development of those skills can be achieved through activities such as assessment, using tests, skills portfolios, self-reflection exercises, so we can all build self-awareness. Then sampling, offering work simulations, internships, short learning tasks to help learners explore career options, or maybe just to stay motivated to continue learning. This is the most difficult, to stay continually motivated to continue learning. We can teach, integrating career education into vocational education training curricula. For example, through courses on self-efficiency, how to write curriculum vitae with job interview preparations. We can actually help in how to put information in our biography so that it reflects what we aspire, what are our ideas for future job, what are our ideas for our career development. Career education can be offered as a standalone subject embedded with another subject, or as a part of cross-curricular or whole school approach. We can do mentoring, providing individual guidance, support from experienced peers. We mentioned older, younger, somebody who actually went through all that path, teachers, professionals. So management skills development should include variety of all these activities, assessment, sampling, teaching, mentoring, to help individuals in their pathway. Effective career guidance strategies involve a blend of self-assessment, goal setting, continuous skill development, all types of skills, regardless what the pathway is. Just remember soft skills, transversal skills. Key approaches include creating goals, networking, finding mentor, finding somebody who is going to transfer information based on their experience, their achievements, leveraging technology for skill building, and engaging in regular career path reflections to adapt changing industries. We have to think about this. We have to reflect about this, and we have to be engaged so we can actually accept all the changes in industries. We must try to regularly evaluate our skills, interests, values to ensure alignment with career choices. This is lifelong learning activity pathway because our career takes our life. It takes forever. It takes 40 years. It takes 50 years. It takes most of our active days. So we must reevaluate. We must try to figure out what are our skills, what are our interests, and what are our values to actually make them in alignment with career choices. As for goals, I've mentioned before, they should be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-framed. We must think about some sort of a time frame. it can't be forever, because we mentioned obstacles that were found during researches for participation, for choosing career pathway, for choosing where we are going to be with our career choices. Also, the idea is to proactively learn new skills to remain competitive, to remain up to date in the labor market, including focusing on aforementioned soft skills like adaptability and communication. This is not all. Amongst other activities, we should build relationships within chosen industry to discover hidden opportunities and find mentor for guidance and accountability. We can also try to utilize online platforms, career websites, labor market reports to track what are the trends, where is economy, where is industry, where is my wish for my career going to be in 5 years, in 10 years. There are numerous platforms. So tracking industry trends is not all that difficult. Of course, we must be able to use our digital skills to do this. We can also compare salary data. We can try to figure out where we want to be regarding our incomes, regarding improvement on our social status and things like that. Develop formal career plan that maps out required skills. So we can put it down. We are still allowed to write down what is our plan, what are the skills we need, what are necessary trainings, what are targeted roles, how do I want to get there, in what time frame. Prepare to adjust, prepare for change, prepare to actually have some challenges, obstacles, to actually have maybe a problem or two, and to make necessary changes based on all the unexpected changes in the industry. So be prepared to help individuals, but also be prepared to help ourselves so we can help individuals. So at this moment, let's reflect and let's talk about this. Where are your careers going? In 5 years, in 10 years, in a year, in this industry, in this economy, in changing industry? How would you actually incorporate your career opportunities within the green and digital economy? Let's think. Take a minute. Reflect on your own career. And how would you incorporate career opportunities within green and digital economy? I'm going to pause now for a minute, and then we'll talk about that. I hope you took time to reflect, so let's talk now. Do you remember self-evaluation and self-assessment that we mentioned? So the question was, where are your careers going, and how would you incorporate your career opportunities with the green and digital economy? And we've mentioned that maybe we could ask ourselves, what are the possible pathways for career? Let's see if maybe this self-evaluation form we can use. You can change whatever you want, you can add, you can subtract, you can do whatever you want. Let's see if this may help clarify a little bit where are our careers going and how would we as professionals in career guidance and counseling incorporate opportunity within green and digital economy. For example, I want to learn and further develop my competencies in national and European policies regarding career planning, employability, and lifelong learning. Maybe you want to do this. As I've mentioned at the beginning, the literature used for this webinar is at the end, so you can all reflect on further information about this. But tell me something. Do you completely disagree? You don't know about this? Or maybe you agree that we should all learn in national and European policies regarding career planning, employability, and lifelong learning. Let's see another thing. I would like to improve my career management skills. If you remember, we talked about management skills and we talked about how career management skills development is very important, and activities like assessment, sampling, teaching, and mentoring are important for all of us. So, do you completely disagree, or maybe you don't know, or you completely agree that this may help with our careers and where they are going and how we want to incorporate career opportunities within green and digital economy? Or maybe I need to be more acquainted with self-assessment instruments, including digital and online tools for evaluating my clients' or my colleagues' characteristics, skills, attitudes, abilities, learning styles, interesting, everything that's completely different for every individual, for each and every one of us. So do you completely disagree? You don't know, or completely agree? This is 3-level scale. You can use 5-level scale. You can use any type of response matrix as long as you try to figure out some sort of questionnaire for self-evaluation and how to think about where are our careers going. Or maybe we want to make ourselves more familiar with various methods and techniques for setting and assessing career development goals and strategies. There are numerous techniques, numerous methods, SWOT, smart way to set goals. So maybe we should learn about them. Maybe we should learn about them for our pathway. Maybe we should learn about them so we can improve on our career, so we can help others regarding counseling, career counseling. When conducting career guidance and counseling activities with clients, with our colleagues, depends on where we work, I aim to perfect more how to utilize ICT tools, enrolling clients or our colleagues on webinars such as this one, using presentations, using computers, using internet, online career guidance tools. I have to learn all that if I want to improve my career in guidance strategies and counseling. I aim to make myself more familiar with circular economy, energy efficiency, biodiversity, recycling, basic things I have to learn. So I completely agree. My career should move further on if I learn policies, management skills, self-assessment instruments, maybe how to set SMART objectives, maybe how to perfect more on utilize ICT tools, and make myself more familiar with circular economy and energy efficiency. So those are possible ways how to think about where our career is going and how to incorporate career opportunities within green and digital economy. But we provide guidance and counseling to individuals in labor market. We provide guidance and counseling to individuals in companies, in economies that are completely different. So let's see, how would you counsel somebody? What would you say? Where will you start? How do you aim to end? How do you know that you actually did a good job? And how would you help somebody to integrate his or her career opportunities within the green and digital economy? Let's think about this for a minute. What we are talking about are career development strategies and how to combine twin transition, digital and green transition into some career development, into any chosen strategy. So let's reflect on what can be used. Self-assessment regarding skills and values, exploration regarding market or possible options in economy. We have to make some decisions so we can help our clients or colleagues or wherever how to set goals. And then we must try to figure out what is the action plan. Education, networking. Integration with twin transition is actually in every single step possible. So we can incorporate in guidance strategies, in guidance activities, in counseling, during self-assessment, exploration, decision-making and action plan, anything that we can regarding digital and green skills. Just to remind you, skill set matrix was presented previously. So we can think about artificial intelligence, automation, data analytics, cloud computing, cybersecurity. We can think about energy efficiency, sustainable sourcing, and we can think about combining everything through digital twins, smart monitoring, green IT, or eco-design. So those are possible skills that we can actually suggest to our clients and to our to people who come for help regarding career counseling. And those are possible activities that we as professionals could do or think about when we think about how would we counsel somebody and how would we integrate, help them to integrate into his or her career opportunities within green and digital economy. So I hope that this webinar was not all that boring and that we managed to present the required inputs regarding career guidance strategies, and we hope that you are going to reach all the expected outcomes from this webinar. The literature, as I mentioned, is next, so all the other sources or these sources mentioned in this webinar should help to learn more. Thank you very much for your time.